Alright, this is going to be a real-time recording of doing problems 2.54, 2.55, and 2.56, 2.57 if we get to it. You do these, you're going to do these in CAD. You draft the geometry first. I'm not going to pay a lot of attention to layers here, but I'm going to just draft the geometry first. So I'm going to typically go here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my object layer, cancel, turn this listing thing off, turn on my make my object layer current, turning on my keyboard here, of course. Grab the wrong one there. Try to see when I try to use these little, that's that one I'm looking for there. And I make the object layer current, turn it on, make it current, change its line weight so you can see it. And I'm going to draft first on the centerline layer to get the geometry. So make sure that you keep track that usually it's the structure that gives you the direction and then of the forces, and then you go from there. So I'm hitting a delete key here, selecting first. Delete key still not working. Alright, so what you're going to do is the concept is to draft the structure, then eventually draft a star free body diagram if you have a concurrent force problem. That means that everything emanates from. So if something is pulling on it, it's fine. If something is pushing on it, you have to transmit it through the structure so you can catch the direction. That's going to be true in whether you're doing it by algebra or trig, or whether you're doing it by, try one more time. Doesn't like that. Okay. I'm going to draft the structure. For that was, one of them was straight down. Got my F8 on. That's my force straight down. One of them was 912, and so I can do that by having a line here from the end point, turning off my ortho if I want, and say at -12, 9. Remember AutoCAD, changing X over changing Y, it is not slope. And the other one was I'm going through your homework sets here, and I'm looking for your sketches where that would be given, 512 and 912. So that was not 912, so I'm going to erase it. I'm going to go for a line here from the end point here at -12, 5, and I'm going to do a line here from the end here at -12, -9. And then I'm going to have to decide what is my length, the force vector, and for this case, the first one, I'm going to make 1 equals 1,000. So I'm going to go a line from the end point here. I guess better yet, get used to doing it this way. Circle from the end point there, radius of 5, and then you can basically do a line from right over the top if you want. That's all kinds of different ways. I don't really care how you draft this, but you do want to start to use layers so your brain makes sense of things to the intersection. So you start to break your rules there. Alright, you got to go back to there along 2 routes. You do that by offsetting. You decide you're going to go back along that route. Maybe it's not a bad idea to use one of the rules you never get to use, quick property, change that color all of a sudden because you're going to use it as your route home. I don't know, is yellow the route home? And then I'm going to, not a bad idea to learn how to copy parallel, so you can go to other programs. So I left click, spacebar, 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 C for copy, shift right click the intersection here. Now I can trim. TRIM, screw that, pull it back, I can trim. And you want to double check, however, that you are going in the right direction here. So this one here should be in the right direction. It is 4642.9. That, of course, is the tension. and the compression is 5357, and you've got the angles there as well. So that is that first problem. Move on to the next one. It was 2.54. The next one didn't give you a length, so you're going to have to kind of start with some. You want to get the geometry, so you're going to need to go with basically a length between AB of maybe 10 will work for you. So you can set up this, turn on your F8. The length does not make a difference in this problem. And then you're going to do another, of course, try to do that within centerline again. So change that to centerline. Line from the endpoint there at 3, 4 if you do it in AutoCAD, and then this other one was 60 degrees, so you can do left click spacebar, C for copy, minus 60, fillet radius 0. You now have these two forces, and then you have 3, 4 again, line from the end of here at 3, minus 4, and that's your force vector. Once again, the force vector here was given as 2, so you're going to I guess use 2 to be 2. That works for me. And you want to show the star diagram, so line from the endpoint there. Go ahead and change it to object, and you would have it on a force layer. Line from the, I'll do it again, circle from the end of here, radius of 2, line from the intersection. It's nice to draw your lines, and you should, and it's almost necessary to draw them in the right direction here. So that's one of the reasons you're driving lines on top of lines. Intersection to the intersection. You've learned to use layers long ago. You gotta get home along 2 directions. I'm going to go ahead and pick this direction home here, so I'm going to go ahead and change that layer. Color, I'm going to go ahead and change it to yellow. Just develop, and you want to go now. You want to go from that point there. So you're going to left click, spacebar to move. C for copy to the intersection of here. You can trim. Trim. Screw that. Back there. Trim. Screw that. And you have the fact that there's some tension in this one. The tension is equal to 260 pounds, and there's compression in this other one. I've taken almost all the force, or a little bit more than all the force, at 2.08 kilonewtons. Alright, so that is the second problem. That is problem 2.55. 2.56, again, it's geometry. We should have enough time just to do it if we're really good about drafting. We're going to go down. We've got F8 on. Right, we want that to be on layer centerline, or something that kind of fades to the back. We have a line from the end point here at minus 12, minus 5, and the other one is at a 30 degrees, which is 30 degrees from vertical. So left click spacebar to rotate. C for copy, and at minus 30 degrees. Take a quick break here to get the coffee, and we'll finish this up within the next minute. Alright, so we've drafted up the structure, putting these layers in the correct layer, if you would, and then that force down was 800. Once again, you got to pick, circle. You're going to decide 1 is 100, 8 is your distance, line from the intersection, shift right click to the intersection, pick a direction home, maybe change the color on that, and then learn to use copy parallel. Left click, spacebar, C for copy, orthos off, out of habit, intersection there, trim, and we could use fillet, of course. Trim, screw that, trim, screw that, and you have trim, screw that, oh, trim, screw that, and you have then your two forces. This one being the force in the cable, and this one being the force in the beam. List it, get an answer there. List it, get an answer there. Hopefully this will work. That's 3 problems in about 10 minutes.